Do you guys want to know the top 5 oddest leopard gecko morphs in the hobby right now? Then stick around in this video and find out. Selling in the billions each year, Rainbow Mealworms is your one-stop shop for all your insect needs. Their quality feeders and A+ customer service keep me coming back to support the health and growth of all of our animals. Visit them today at rainbowmealworms.net to place your order. Starting it off at number 5 is the Oddball leopard gecko, coined by Barry Gardner of Only Tangs. Now this is an extremely odd pattern for a leopard gecko to be displaying, and he claims that it comes from extreme bold to extreme bold lineage. There's a couple different things that this gecko could be. It looks like it might be a chimera, which is a medical term for having 2 sets of DNA. So this gecko could be displaying one set of DNA and then displaying another set of DNA in different places of its body. It could be a paradox, and a paradox is exactly what it sounds like. It's an oddity. It's like black spots on an albino is the most common paradox you'll see. But there are many different forms of paradox, and this could be one of them. It also could be a disease like Patient Zero at Pangea Reptiles. Patient Zero has an autoimmune disease, they think, which makes him stop making pigment in certain areas of his body. Or lastly, and this is probably what Barry is hoping for, it proves out to be a brand new genetic, such as Piebald is in ball pythons. Maybe we could have a Piebald actual mutation in leopard geckos. Okay, next on the list at number 4 is the Black Blood Leopard Gecko by SFF Geckos on Instagram. I just came across this gecko scanning through this breeder's page because this is the breeder that we talked about as being the creator of the Red Devil morph. If you haven't seen our video on top 5 rarest leopard gecko morphs, then check that out in the top right corner here. But SFF Gecko also has this really cool morph called the Black Blood Leopard Gecko. It's very difficult in leopard geckos to get the tail of the leopard gecko to be one color and then the body of the leopard gecko to be another color, except in Murphy's pattern list, and you could check that video out here also in the top right corner. But normally you cannot mix and match. You can't say I want a black body and a white tail, or a white body and a black tail, or an orange body and a black tail. That has been impossible up till this point. So it's pretty exciting to see where the leopard gecko hobby might take us in the future. All right, number 3 on the list is the Black Knight Blood Radar Leopard Gecko from the Urban Reptile out of Canada. This guy creates some of the craziest combinations of leopard geckos, and it's really fun to watch his operation in motion. Now, although I want to make a top 5 coolest leopard gecko morphs list, I haven't yet, and so this has to be in the odd list because it's very, very rare to see geckos displaying both light albino traits and dark black knight traits at the same time, and you can see in this gecko is doing a really, really great job of this. It has those bloodshot bright red eyes with nice purple coloration where the blackness would normally be on a black knight leopard gecko, and then beautiful orange coloration coming in from the blood lineage and the bell lineage, giving this gecko a really, really odd look to it, but spectacular nonetheless. I might just have to buy one of these one day because it's really, really cool. Okay, number 2 is actually what we call in leopard geckos as the Piebald genetic. It's actually not a genetic per se, but it's a series of genes in the leopard gecko's DNA that people are breeding for to take away pigment. So it just leaves the blank base white on an animal. Now, the really interesting thing with this is you can do it in other animals besides a super snow. Super snow is the most common animal that you see this in, but I have seen some pretty cool tangerine combinations with the piebald effect to give the geckos a really unique look. And I've never worked with it myself, but I hear from breeders that do work with it that the reliability of the piebald effect is not 100%. Meaning if you take a piebald parent that's lacking pattern in certain areas and you breed it to another piebald parent or even a non-piebald gecko, there's not 100%
100% guarantee that you're going to get piebald at all, or great expression of piebald, or low expression of piebald. It's kind of up in the air as far as the statistics of what pops out for you, and I think that's why it hasn't become more popular yet, is because it's very difficult to predict the pattern and expression passing on to the babies. All right, guys, number 1, and I'm really excited for this. This is the oddest leopard gecko in the entire world, and I challenge you to find one more odd than this. It is the Satin Leopard Gecko. Correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm not pronouncing this guy's name wrong, but it popped up in a guy's collection called Ilko Shoot. And he is so under the radar. He is like a special ops United Kingdom warrior or something. You don't know this guy. I'm a little afraid to talk about him, actually, to tell you the truth. But he's actually a really nice guy from what I can tell, and he is doing his due diligence to try to research this matter further. He's created multiple babies of the Satin line now, and in time he's going to reveal to us more information about it. But basically, what appears to be going on here is that we have a scaleless or a less scaled leopard gecko to where the skin is very smooth. Now, I haven't had a lot of discussion with this guy, so I'm not completely sure which one it is, but looking at the pictures, it looks very similar to a Coleonyx western banded gecko. If you're from Arizona like I am, California, Mexico, New Mexico, Nevada, you might see these geckos running around all over the place in the middle of the desert. They are a very fun species. They actually eat scorpions in the wild, and they wave their tail like a hypnotizing wizard at the scorpion and then strike at the scorpions and shake their head so violently that the scorpion can't even sting it, and the gecko gets to eat something that you would think would kill the gecko. So looking at a Coleonyx gecko and looking at a Satin Leopard Gecko, it looks like their skin is very similar. And I have a collection of Coleonyx geckos, so I can tell you it's silky smooth and fun to pet a gecko without scales. But Coleonyx geckos are very small compared to leopard geckos, and so they don't make the greatest handleable pets per se. You can tame them down, and I've tamed mine down over here so that I can hold them in my hand, but they're very small and they don't make a great beginner pet, and they're super lightning fast. So more time will tell on the Satin Leopard Gecko, but could you imagine a satin black knight, or a satin tangerine, or a satin white and yellow? How cool would that be? All right, guys, well, what do you think about my top 5 oddest leopard gecko morphs in the hobby right now? Do you agree or do you disagree? And do you have any suggestions that I should have put in this video? Leave a comment below. I appreciate you guys tuning in once again. Keep an eye out for our next video as we're dropping them now on a weekly basis, and I'll see you guys very soon. Until then, stay safe and have a geeky gecko great day. Peace!